Hello, group. Welcome to Extra Red Corner. I'm your host, Richard May. Today, I have to honor the intellectual grandfather of every fuck guys meme anyone here ever liked. Of course, we didn't have ice 56, 57 years ago during the Vietnam War. But Joe McDonald, with his band Country Joe and the Fish, had a song called I'm Fixin To-Die Rag, or I Feel Like I'm Fixin To Die Rag. And before the song, they would do the Fish cheer, the name of the band. Give me F, give me I, give me S, give me H. What's that spell? It mutated soon after into F-U-C-K. What's that spell? And famously in the Woodstock film, Country Joe does the fish, spelling out fuck in the film, and then go into the song. And has it aged well? It's not a classic rock standard by no means. But academically, and for those my age, a touch older, it's a vital part of our memories of the Vietnam era. And right there, that's enough to love Country Joe right there. But Country Joe did do a touch more. And this is me just being my personal memories. I'm a touch younger than the Vietnam generation. I was a child, small child at the time. So when I started to buy music, about 50 years ago, we're talking about exactly 50 years ago soon, we went on a field trip to New York City from Cleveland for a convention to New York City. New York City is expensive. I brought a lot of money. Now, I didn't spend it all. So when I came back, I bought a portable 8-track player. 8-tracks are the worst. Even worse than cassettes and vinyl. But it was my start. Just a nice old $20 portable 8-track player and a membership to the Columbia mail-in club thing, whatever. And I got my start. And it was nice getting the latest hits through Columbia House. But I went on trips to Gold Circle, local department store, and they had 8-track tapes in a bargain bin. Big bargain bin for $2 or $3 a piece, whatever they were. And there was a lot of folk music, because in 1975, folk was over. No more Vietnam, no more crying about Vietnam, no more protest war, that was all done. And so all the Country Joe and the Fish was there. That was in here. Melanie. Remember Melanie? We lost her recently. had a new album from her, unreleased record from her about every week for about a year after that. A lot of unreleased records from Melanie, apparently. Brewer and Shipley. One took over the line. A lot of that in there. Lost those two recently. My small folk section. You see what the bulk of it is, over my shoulder. But you look at Idle Country. Yeah, it's a library copy I got cheap. Full Ox, who spent some time in Cleveland as he begun his career in folk music. And of course, all of that is a precursor to what we're experiencing today. For Pete's sake, Vietnam, well, are we in now? Well, at least there's no ground troops yet. And of course, talking about fuck guys, Bruce Springsteen, Streets of Minneapolis. And, he's, sometimes follows in that Woody Country, Phil Ox tradition of doing contemporary protest music. So, yeah, I love those 8 tracks. And yeah, I grew out of it. I thought, folk music was for those educated, hip people, folkies, and that didn't last. But in a few years, when I went to college at Cleveland State, no, hold on, what am I saying? Ohio State. Jeez. Been in Cleveland ever since. The short while I was in college at Columbus and the Ohio State University, lots of used record stores all around me. Lots of them. Lots of used records, dirt cheap. Especially Country Joe McDonald. His post Country Joe and the Fish records on the Fantasy record label. This is the best of a lot of those records. And dirt cheap, 50 cents, a buck. Good times. That's what I was doing instead of studying, which is, well, as it may be. No, I don't have my degree. One of the the legions of the almost alumni of the Ohio State University. So, just got my love of Country Joe right there. And if you're interested in, if you're not familiar with Country Joe and his music, I recommend 2 songs you could be able to find here on YouTube. And the third song, good luck, because I can't find it. Of course, you gotta listen to I-Feel-Like-I'm-Fixin To-Die Rag about Vietnam. Gotta hear that, at least academically. The other song that became a bit of a cult hit here in Cleveland on WMMS, The Buzzard. A particular DJ took a title track from a 1971 record of Country Joe's. Hold On, It's Coming. And it's great, and it's timeless, unlike the other dated music that Joe did in his prime. Hold On, It's Coming is just wonderful, and there's a great video for it here on YouTube. And like I said, a DJ would play it on his shift, or their shift. It might have been a female DJ. Played it regularly. Not every show, but a lot of the times you'll hear "Hold On, It's Coming" on this DJ shift. And the video is a head trip, as it should be. It's trippy. The video is trippy. The music, not so trippy. It's folk. That's what happened. Country Joe and the Fish, gave birth to acid to some extent. But when the Fish broke up, country took after Willie Country and became a folk artist. And was pretty good at it. The third song, and I can't say I remember the title because I can't find it. It's from an album called, from 1979, the year I graduated from high school. Found a promo copy of it at the Ohio State University at Singing Dog Records. Got it for $1. The only time I ever physically seen this record. And I owned it. I bought it and owned it. But there's a punk song in the album Leisure Suite. And, Country Joe just hooks up with a punk band from San Francisco and does a punk song. And Joe's singing it. And basically wrote it, I guess. Or co-wrote it. About a woman that really doesn't do anything for the cause, the political cause, except sleep with the men involved in the cause. So the main refrain is, all you do is give a piece of your ass. Is that the title of the song, A Piece of Your Ass? I can't remember the title of the song. But that's the refrain of the song basically is, all you give is a piece of your ass. And, of course, I love that song. Haven't heard it in 46 years? Probably. Or 45. I owned it, so whenever I lost it. But those 3 songs I recommend. And if you have to, a 4th song, one you can find, instead of the punk song from Leisure Suite. Country Joe went out and dated Janis Joplin. Yeah, that Janis Joplin. And, when they broke up, as his orbit told me today, when they broke up, Janis asked him to write a song for her, and it became Janis. And I got to see Country Joe McDonald perform in the 21st century here in Cleveland, in the suburb of Lakewood, the Winchester Music Hall. And there was a good number of us, good crowd for him. And he performed, of course, I'm Fixin' to Die Rag, as dated as it was, 30, 40 plus years after the relevance of the song. And he performed Janis. And it's a touching song about his former girlfriend. But he did not perform Hold On, It's Coming, which was a cult hit in Cleveland. I guess no one told him, hey, Country Joe, you realize Hold On, It's Coming is, they kind of know the song here because it's played on the radio once in a blue moon. People know, play it. Well, I guess no one told him to practice Hold On, It's Coming, so he didn't perform it. And no, he didn't perform the punk song. Darn. And So it's just a piece of the beginnings of my becoming a music fan as I am now. Lots and lots of physical media. And of course, now we don't need physical as much. It's all online. All kinds of bands from around the world. They need you to buy physical. They need the money. But, that's was the music that was mine. Yeah, I owned Springsteen on 8-track. I owned Foreigner, and I owned Kansas. Because, Prague, it isn't folk. Well, prog rock is. Carry On My Wayward Son, right? Prague. I grew out of that phase. But that's the beginnings of my collecting music and enjoying music. What the hard rock, not easy for me to find in those days. Was that much of it in the 70s. No matter how much, oh yeah, Zeppelin, Sabbath, Purple, that was pretty much it. The breadth of hard rock that we enjoy today is amazing and wonderful. And what we normally do here on Action Rock Corner. But I digress. Did I mention everything? And Country Joe was it is the age of the Beatles. Yeah, most of the Beatles are a touch younger. Yeah, a few months, 6 months, a year and a half younger than Country Joe. But Ringo's older. Is about 5 months older. And we still got Ringo. So, that's what we're experiencing. A lot of the OG rock stars of my generation that we fell in love with. The Stones and the Beatles and Joe McDonald and Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, and they're in their 80s, people. They're not producing much new music. If they can, they will. But, we're not always, tomorrow's not promised much after the age of 70 in America in the first roll of the day. Or even 65, the age I am now. So, that was a good show, Country Joe, that I got to see. You had some good records in there. Not anything I recommend. Go check it out for yourself. I think some of the Country Joe and the Fish, it's interesting by today's standards. But it is an academic lesson. Because what they're singing about can be quite dated. Because they were quite specific. Unlike others of their time who tried to be general about the politics of their era. Now, Country Joe McDonald and the Fish, they were Pacific. They were singing about Nixon and Lyndon Johnson, LBJ, by name, and their songs. And when you're Pacific like that, Pacific about Vietnam, and becomes dated. But I'm old enough to appreciate those songs. Superbird and Pacifics of Fixin To Die Rag. They mention specifically Vietnam. We're all, who gives a damn? We're all off to Vietnam. You know, if Country Joe had the health, I'm sure he had a good song about Trump to give us, but you know, I'm sure I imagine the Parkinsons interfered in that. And maybe there is a bunch of unreleased records of Country Joe McDonald, much like after Melanie died, with a record a week. They are coming out fast and furious from Melanie, man, after her death. And it's like, just who did a record with Melanie? Jen Ackerman from Focus did an album with Melanie? Who? Maybe there's some cool stuff we don't know about in the archives from Country Joe we're going to see limited print runs of in the near future. If it's really good, I will view it. But no, this is not going to become a folk channel. No. I think I'll keep that to myself. But rest in power, Country Joe McDonald. We need your voice. I don't know if it would do any good for your blood pressure, but we need your voice today. Gosh. You must have been spitting nails the last 10 years. Anyways, thank you so much for listening to me talk about my memories of Country Joe McDonald and my personal memories of collecting Country Joe McDonald records on 8-track in high school and vinyl in college. And they're all walked away. But yeah, I got a couple on CD. Maybe they'll reissue Hold On It's Coming though with the record. That song's a shit. It is. Holds up today. So remember, Hold On It's Coming. Here on YouTube. Go check it out. Nice acoustic song about picking up a stranger in his car. I really love that song. You should give it a second life, people. It's a great song. Go listen to it, watch it, and listen to it here on YouTube. If you like this video, give it a like. You know, it encourages other people to remember Country Joe McDonald. And if you like 21st century bands that's into rock and roll, yeah, Action Rock Corners for you. Subscribe. Ring the notification bell. And leave a comment. What's your memory of Country Joe McDonald and the Fish? And release an action rock, high energy rock, garage, punk, net folk. No, I can't do it. Folk is not right here. But if I find something that really kind of rocks and is kind of folk, yeah, I'll do it. But I can't find that very often. And classic legacy bands, like Country Joe McDonald and the Fish. The band is Country Joe and the Fish. Okay? Not to confuse you about how to find the band. Okay? Where did I put? Country Joe and the Fish. When you go for solo stuff, it's Country Joe McDonald. Thank you for watching. You will see you again soon.